Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell. You'll get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And when I'm not asking Bruce, hey, how big was Batista's? Well, you know. One of the things I like to do is help people save money. And if you're watching this video right now and you're in a 30-year loan, man, you're overpaying your single biggest bill and you may not even realize it. I want you to do a little experiment for me. Take your calculator out, multiply your monthly house payment by 360 payments. That's how many payments there are on a 30-year loan. That big scary number, that's your total of payments. You're looking at that number? You know you can do better. Keep more of your own money right now and go to savewithconrad.com. Or maybe you've got credit card debt. Man, it's not a matter of if I can save you money with that. Your average interest rate on a credit card is more than 20%. And by the way, all the interest you pay on those credit cards, it's not tax deductible. Whereas the mortgage interest, well, that is tax deductible. So if you owe this debt, it's up to you how to pay it back. Doesn't it make sense to get the cheapest rate possible and the greatest tax deduction possible? Find out how much money you can save right now for free at savewithconrad.com. You don't need perfect credit. Even scores in the 500s can be approved, and it's no cost out of pocket. But maybe best of all, we're licensed in more than 40 states. We can help more families than ever before. But how much can we save you? Find out right now for free with a quick quote from savewithconrad.com.
What happened when?
WHW Monday. And now, let's go to the ring. And here's your co-host. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson, and you're listening to What Happened When? With the voice of your childhood, Tony Schiavone. Tony, what's going on, man? How are you?
Well, Conrad, I'm doing great. It's been a week since we revealed the tattoo. I want to let you know I don't have any more tattoos yet.
Yep. No.
But I did go back and listen again to last week's podcast.
Yeah.
Had a friend of mine from Virginia who was the best man at our wedding, and he was on the phone. And well, unfortunately for a lot of my hometown boys in Virginia, they just don't have time for the internet. That's true. That's a true statement. So I said, he came up, he said, you know what best buddies do, don't you?
Oh,
I said, no, what do they do? He said, give each other shit. I said, well, interestingly enough, I said, I know you've never heard my podcast because you don't even know where the internet is.
right.
He said, I don't even bother that shit. He said, what is it? A pod? What? It's true. This is not a bullshit story. I said, a podcast. He said, okay. I said, I'm going to let you, I put my phone on speaker and I let him listen to you giving me shit about the tattoo. And he said, that fella there giving you a lot of shit, isn't he? I said, he sure is. He sure is. He said, well, do you like the tattoo? I said, love it. We'll get some more. He said, well, there you go. He said, you'll get the tattoo and you get a lot more shit.
Accurate.
And he's accurate. Yeah. So I'm ready to get a lot more shit from you.
Well, if you'd like to get some more shit, Tony, I can't believe that our outfit is this enterprising, maybe is the right word. You want to show everybody that? Well, I guess you can't show everybody the tattoo right now because you're wearing a hoodie, but you saw it last week. Oh, you think you can do that?
Nah, I can't do it. I can't get it.
I'm going to say that sleeve ain't going that high.
No.
Anyway, the point is, I think we all want to be like Tony when we grow up. Well, maybe not in every way, but in a lot of ways. And if you'd like to be like Tony, cruise on over to boxofgimmicks.com. We have bug temporary tattoos.
Oh my God.
I can't believe it's real, Tony, but we have them. We have a limited quantity, but it is an exact replica of Tony Schiavone's bug tattoo. Yes, this is real, and you can get one now at boxofgimmicks.com. I got to tell you, this feels a little bit like when Jim Cornette sold burger towels, which was hilarious. I think we've talked about this before. The idea being that Jim used to be a road warrior. He was on the road making towns every single day of his life. So you learn to do things in the car, one of which is eat a burger.
Right.
So he'd hit that old Wendy's triple or whatever it was, you know, Bruce's routine. I think Bruce said it wrong all these years too. Anyway, point is, he would drape himself in a towel, and he called it the burger towel. And it got enough fanfare online. He sold Jim Cornette burger towels, which I thought, boy, that's a genius idea.
Yeah.
And now all these years later, here we are. Last week you reveal a bug tattoo. 1 week later, we've got bug temporary tattoos available for sale.
Well, if there's anybody who's a genius in making money, I'm looking at him.
Bug temporary tattoos might be one of our most crazy out there ideas yet.
Yeah, it's pretty tremendous. I wondered about this, and I wondered about the shirt, which is also available at boxofgimmicks.com. I wonder if Craig Brock, who designed this tattoo from a picture of Bug, has artistic rights to this. I'll say him.
Well, I mean, listen, we're happy to cut him in on our temporary tattoo sales. Were you of the mindset that this was going to be a very lucrative venture? You know, I know you said
we'll give him $3.
I know you said, boy, if I know anybody who knows how to make money, it's you. It's like, how much money do you think we're going to make on a handful of temporary tattoos? This is more about servicing the audience, but yeah, how about this? He can keep all the money on the temporary tattoos. I just knew that this would be something that would be a fun sort of gag gift for the ultimate WHW listener.
Yeah. And hopefully the next time we all get together, they'll all wear their temporary bug tattoos to our low-key Big Hog Top Guy weekend.
Can you imagine that photo op? Everybody doing that bicep pose like you had yesterday, except these folks will actually put the self-tanner on and get fully gimmicked up because you said, oh, I need some biceps and a tan.
Yeah.
But either way, check it out. Boxofgimmicks.com. Bug temporary tattoos. Can you believe that's a real thing, man? What are we doing over here?
What are we doing, man? And if you're going to get one of these bug temporary tattoos, God bless you. God bless you. Put it on your put it on your chest. Put it on your neck.
Okay.
That's where you should put it. Put it on your neck so it can always be seen.
I got to tell you, man, I got mixed emotions about today's show. Of course, we're doing a watch along today. You already know. World Championship Wrestling Season 2, Episode 42, October 25th, 1986. This is the best of times, the worst of times.
Yes, it is. It's one of the better angles. I guess the most memorable, one of the most memorable angles that we did with Dusty and the Four Horsemen. Then, of course, we're going to address, in only the way we could do it, what happened to Magnum, because now it's happened, and we've got to react to it, and we've got to scramble to do something in his place. Last week, we had Magnum talk about Nikita Koloff, and I was wondering if it was going to be Magnum and Nikita again at Starrcade 86, which is going to feature the Road Warriors and the Midnight Express in that famous scaffold match. But then again, we also talked about the feeling was that Magnum was going to get his world title shot, a shot that he never got. Nikita Koloff got the shot because Magnum had his wreck on the 14th of October. This airs on October, 25th, I believe, the show that we're going to show.
Mm-hmm.
So it actually was taped when? Do you have that information when it was taped?
Yeah, I do. Let me, it was done on October 19th. So 6 days ahead of the airtime.
Yeah. And 5 days after his wreck.
Yes.
And of course, even 5 days after his wreck, we were really unsure if he would pull through or not.
Right.
But we didn't come across that way on TV, as the old wrestling way to do things back then was not to really talk about it, just try to make a positive spin on it. And of course, you don't even really, even when someone is in critical condition, like for instance, when Brody Lee was in critical condition, we didn't talk about it. We didn't talk about him at all. Because you don't want to, but anyway, so it was a tough time for us, but I think we pulled through okay. I think we had a good Starrcade, and had some very good matches. It was quite a moment. Are we going to show Nikita helping Dusty in the cage here? in this show? I'm not so sure if we are or not.
I'm not sure either, but
Yeah.
we're gonna enjoy the whole show. But I
Yeah.
do know that it's gonna be a stressful show, Tony.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty brief one. We've talked about that in recent weeks, that a lot of these on the network are trimmed down.
Right.
Originally, this was a 60-minute episode, but now it's 34 minutes. So clearly, they've cut a few things out of here. Maybe they were sponsored elements or what have you. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah.
But it's only a 34-minute watch along. But I
Right.
just know it's going to be a stressful 34 minutes.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be stressful in many ways.
Well, listen, I'm excited for our show today, but I feel like we should talk about some other happenings and goings on in and around the wrestling business and your life.
Mm-hmm.
Before we talk about wrestling, let's just talk about you here for a minute.
Okay, let's go. Is it going to involve the word rebel?
No.
Oh, thank goodness. Go ahead.
What's the family thinking?
What's
of your yeah.
Okay. Well, as you know, when it was done and Craig took the pictures of the tattoo and sent it to me, I immediately sent it to two people. I sent it to Lois and I sent it to Laurie. And Laurie said, "No, you didn't." That was her response. I said, "Yes, that's my arm." And of course, Laurie, being working with us, has become a very good stooge and immediately sent it to you and sent it to all my brothers. Lois just kind of rolled her eyes like, you're out of your mind type, and didn't make that big of a deal out of it. But then the kids started getting in touch with me. Chris Schiavone said, "I want to see it. Come on, show it to me." And I sent him a text. I said, "You got the picture, didn't you?" He went, "Yeah." I said, "It looks the same." Okay, I'm not putting my arm in front of a phone for you because it looks the same. Matt kind of like shrugged it off because that's the way he is. Tim wanted to know why everybody got in touch with him when I had a tattoo. And that's because Tim has a lot of tattoos. He said, "So you following my footsteps, huh?" I said, "I guess, I don't know." And then John Michael, who's, removed from the family, I don't even know if he's still alive or not, to be honest with you. So that's kind of the reaction. I haven't seen much of a reaction and I'm sure there's been on social media, but there it is. There it is. And like I said last time, there's going to be more tattoos on the way. I'm going to look like Malachi Black.
What will your new gimmick name be?
Anthony Black.
Oh, just going straight with it, huh?
Yeah, that's right. Or T.S. Punk.
Oh.
Or Doc Schiavone.
Oh, okay. So you're definitely leaning into the wrestling bit.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
That's my life, thanks to you again.
Well, you were going to get a bunch of Japanese tattoos. You were
right. Strength. Perseverance. Things like that. These symbols that mean something that,
So how have you demonstrated strength in your life? Tell us about some of those challenges that led you to this decision to get a tattoo of the word strength in Japanese. Right?
Keeping this house when I lost my job in wrestling.
Okay.
Putting up with some bullshit in your marriage. It takes strength, right? Being a friend to very attractive ladies on the road. A friend.
Okay.
Only takes strength.
Okay.
Lifting boxes when Lois bosses me around in the basement.
So lifting boxes, there you go. I mean, I know I sometimes think when Megan asked me to take the trash out, reckon I should get a tattoo to celebrate this. Just commemorate the moment.
Yes, you should. And your tattoo should say, "I know who my boss is." You can get any type of design, any type of font that you want, any color. Put Megan's face on it. That'd be good. And then every time that she tells you to do something, you put a little tally mark underneath of it.
Hmm.
Just some tattoo ideas from me to you.
Well, you were talking about the Japanese tattoos, and since we're leaning into wrestler names,
Mm-hmm.
do you remember Shinzei Shinzaki or Hakushi? Do you remember Hakushi?
Hakushi seems familiar to me.
So throw in your Google machine. You know what? You got the computer.
Hakushi.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just type in WWF. Hakushi WWF. And you'll see what will probably pop up is the Wikipedia for it, Shinzei Shinzaki. But you can Google image it.
Yeah, I see it. And
you see all the letters going
yeah,
up.
I'm not doing that.
No. I'm not doing that. And I'm not even suggesting that you do that.
Yeah.
But you were saying I'm going to call myself, Doc Schiavone and, Malachi Schiavone and Tony Black or whatever. What if you called yourself Tony Hakushi?
Tony Hakushi?
Or Hakushi Schiavone?
Hakushi Schiavone.
Because look that's a cool look. Now you might even, if you're Google imaging, you might even see his manager there, and you could just have Dave Silva follow you around like that
with white face paint and a beard.
Dude, tell me that wouldn't be hilarious.
Yeah, you say that's a cool look. That's not a cool look.
No. I'm not saying
that's being drunk, is what that is.
I'm talking about a name. Oh, you mean the outfit? I just thought dressing Tony up like that, or you're Tony dressing Silva up like that would be hilarious.
Yeah,
you don't think?
Yeah, I think it'd be okay. Listen, I need to interrupt you here and say that you mentioned last week on our podcast that we were not allowed to mention Dave's name anymore.
That's right. I appreciate you holding me accountable for that. We're trying to do better.
Right. So
he's made it clear he doesn't listen to the show, and he doesn't appreciate our comedy or our lame attempts at comedy.
And speaking of lame attempts at comedy, we will never mention his name again.
Bullshit is everywhere. Bullshit is rampant.
So I apologize for saying his name.
He was actually not happy that I even mentioned it last week.
Yeah, I know. I talked to him on the phone about a graphic, and he was like
he's curt.
Very curt.
It almost feels like he might be updating his resume over there.
Really?
What do you think?
Taz is not hiring.
I almost had a funny bit I could launch into, but then I remembered we're not doing that. So
yeah, right.
It's almost like I don't know, man. Between Cassio being eat up with herpes, Cassio has herpes is a new shirt available now at boxinggimmicks.com. And now those we do not speak of. It feels like I need to take a page out of your book and just get like a new best friend, because your best friend's Bug. Hell, you got a tattoo for that damn dog. That's how much you love the dog.
Okay, let's not say damn dog again.
Sorry. That's how much you love Bug.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Tony, this is, I got to tell you, I've been a little nervous about even getting into this episode because we've talked about it all year. We knew at the beginning of the year it was coming, but it still feels like it's kind of snuck up on me because we've just had so much fun with Shaska and so many other of these talents. And we've had so much fun with Ryan Garvin's promos and, the funny Arn Anderson quips here and there. And now today it's going to get serious, and the show starts serious. And I think the best thing for us to do is just go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off, man. So without further ado, fire up your Peacock. World Championship Wrestling is what you want to search for. It's season 2, episode 42, October 25th, 1986. And Tony, I'm locked and loaded on my end. I think we have a special countdown today, right?
We have a special countdown. And once again, I want to remind everybody that the way these work on the Peacock, once you hit play, there's going to be a few seconds of blackness before it doesn't start immediately, in other words. So just hang in there, hit play from our special countdown. And by the way, we're going to go to our buddy Turd Ferguson.
Oh,
for our countdown. That's not his real name, but that's kind of what his.
How do you know?
That's what his handle is on. Well, he says his real name on here, but that's what his handle is on his email.
Do you know what Turd Ferguson is a reference to?
I do not.
It's an old Saturday Night Live skit.
Okay, so I don't think this is the same guy. People. Okay, here we go. Ready?
I'm ready.
Hello, Slapdicks. John Staten out here in Dillon, Virginia. Here's your countdown. Here we are, Daddy, live and in color. The What Happened Where with your host, the Silver Tongue Devil, Tony Schiavone, and the cunning Conrad Thompson, if you will. In 3, 2, 1, play.
Come on, in the parking lot. Come on, now feed. Yeah, right back there to Crockett's office. I got it now. This isn't going to be very smooth. Don't you worry, just keep that camera running.
Oh, there's my car.
So which car was yours?
The white Pontiac Grand Am next to the truck.
Who was driving the old Land Cruiser, the old Toyota SUV there?
Oh man. I think it was the guy who did our photography.
That dude's car is worth more money than all the rest now. How about that? Damn.
How about that?
I can't
We're going to show the whole thing, I guess, of this.
Yeah.
Now here we're going to talk about Magnum briefly.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to World Championship Wrestling. And Tony, I am very happy to say that Magnum T.A. is doing very well. And Jimmy will be out here later in the program to give you a complete report.
And David, today's program, as you hear the fans, ready for Starrcade just around the corner, and we're ready also. We got some outstanding news for you today. Some of the biggest news in professional wrestling.
That's right, Tony, and you ought to know because you're going to have that special Starrcade update. And fans, when we talk about Starrcade being the greatest, it will be. You got to listen to the news because, Tony, it's something else.
It is really exciting. Starrcade right around the corner. Gear up today because we have some of the biggest news in the history of professional wrestling. Let's bring in to talk with us right now a man who is really making a big name for himself in World Championship Wrestling, Brad Armstrong.
Thank you very much, Tony. David, it's a pleasure to be here. And I just want to say that for the last couple of years, I've just been able to watch this Starrcade and see what the events are taking place. But, brother, I'm excited to be a part of it this year. And, by gosh, I'm going to be right in the middle of it. I haven't signed any contracts, but, brother, you better believe that I've got open contract. If it happens to be a tag with my partner, Tim Horner, that's fine and dandy. I just like I say, I'm excited to be right in the middle of Starrcade. I'm jumping in with both feet and hopefully make some waves here in the World Championship area.
Okay, Brad Armstrong, and you can expect good things from him. If you're ready, we're ready for one of the most exciting hours in wrestling. Let's go to the ring.
So Brad Armstrong is clearly a brother guy. He dropped a couple brothers on us.
Yeah.
But you could tell, boy, he was as nervous as a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs.
Yeah, he was. I'm really surprised. And that's, I mean, you heard what we said about, only thing David said, Magnum is okay.
Yep.
He's doing well. Jimmy will be out here. That's it. And I'm really, when Brad steps in, I'm thinking, is he going to say, you know, we're all, you know, praying for you, Magnum, thinking about you and whatever. Because in hindsight now, Magnum's wreck happens and people in Charlotte know it. It's before the internet, obviously, so not everybody knows it. But I'm thinking there's a lot of people from the Charlotte area who's going to tune in here to see how he's doing. And
but to your point, you would assume that they would open with an update on Magnum,
right,
to let the national fans know. But at the same time, you know, this is probably a weird spot. You know, again, I don't mean to be this way, but if the wreck had gone the other way, and unfortunately we lost Magnum, which thank God we didn't. But if that would have been the case, then you certainly would have opened with a tribute and some sort of memorial type conversation, what have you. Right. But at this point, to your point, we're only 4 days later. A lot of folks would say, well, we don't know yet. And we don't want to, let's not play this like doom and gloom. He still might be okay. And, you know, there's a lot of eternal optimists out there, and I'm happen to be one of them. And at that point, they may have just thought, well, let's just, if we're not sure what to do, let's do nothing. We'll keep them abreast, but let's not make it into a big deal until we know.
Yeah. I think there was a few of us that worked in the office there that knew. But at least after talking with Dusty and after talking with Rick, and I think we all really knew, but I guess it was good not to, you're right. I guess it was, even though we kind of knew, it was good not to say anything. Because
also too, you might have felt out of respect for your friend, the real life Terry Allen.
Right.
If somebody's going to say he'll never wrestle again,
right,
that should be his statement to make.
Yeah, that's right. Right. Yeah, you're right. You're right on all accounts. There's a Russian leg sweep as Brad Armstrong knew how to do, buddy.
And just rolls over right into a pin. Teddy Long counts it, and that's all she wrote. So Tim Horner and Brad Armstrong pick up a win in the opening match here. Pretty good looking white meat babyface tag team.
I loved them. Absolutely loved them. Look at that, man. All right, here we go.
One match already signed for Starrcade 86, hair versus hair. Let's bring in the boogeyman, Jimmy Valiant. You got Paul Jones in the ring, but this time you put up the hair of Big Mama.
Brother, Tony, I'm so excited, baby. Woo, Missy, I'm excited, man. I'm going to talk to all my people, all my brothers and sisters. We got him. We got him. Paul Jones will be a ball-headed geek. Big Mama, my Big Mama, my color, my flower lady. My mother is going to put up every gorgeous red hair on her head against Paul Jones's dirty, stinking, greasy, black hair. And you know what I mean, baby. Yeah, you know something, Mr. Paul Jones? Every woman's hair is their crowning glory. And Big Mama, your boogeyman loves you more than life. I love you. I'll die for you. I'll kill for you. Everything, baby, is me and you know that for sure. And now, if Paul Jones, if you beat me, every hair on Mama's head will be shaved. And if I beat you, you will be a bald-headed geek. And Tony, to sum it all, baby, just read your shirt. Say Paul Jones first.
Paul Jones, the boogeyman, will get you.
All right, all right.
We're coming right back.
Read the shirt, but say Paul Jones first. What a great little interactive bit that was. So fun.
Yeah. His Big Mama her name was Felicia, and she was something else. They had a daughter. I'm not so sure if it was her daughter by another marriage, a stepdaughter or what, but I met her one time and she was like, I don't know, a little bit younger than me maybe. And boy, was she spectacular. Woo. And I can't remember her name. There you go.
How about Jimmy Garvin strutting, man?
Yeah, Jimmy.
Is that the way you walked around the house after you got your new tattoo?
Yeah, I stood in the corner of the kitchen and bopped up and down just like this.
No, I meant like the strut before.
Oh yeah, strutted into the kitchen for dinner.
Did you feel like a badass when you got the tattoo? I mean, do you think you're now a badass? Like,
yeah, I felt like a badass.
Yeah.
Dun 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 dun. I got a tattoo. Dun 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 dun. Don't screw around with me. Dun 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 dun. I'm bad to the bone. Dun 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 dun. Get your bug tattoo. Dun 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 dun. Headbox gimmicks. Nah, nah, nah. Things like that. Brainbuster, it's over already.
Dude.
We ain't wrestling much.
60-minute show, and you can tell.
Yeah. I like Teddy Long's hair, man. Teddy Long had that.
He was hanging on.
Had the long locks in the back.
You referred to Arn Anderson once as having a flesh-colored yarmulke. I don't know what we would say about Teddy's there. Boy, from that angle, that was not the angle to show on that replay because Jimmy took care of him, boy.
Yeah, right.
Jim Crockett Promotions, an update on the condition of Magnum T.A.
On behalf of Magnum T.A. and his family, I want to thank all the wrestling fans for all the many cards and letters. Again, please don't call the hospital. He's doing very well. But if you'd like to send Magnum a card or a letter, this address they're going to put up on the screen for you. The cards and letters are really cheering him up. If anybody can get back from this terrible injury, Magnum can. It's going to be a long haul for him, and our prayers are with him.
Okay, there's your address to write to Magnum T.A. Fans, when we come back, We'll go to the Starrcade Control Center. Don't go away.
And we still didn't really explain what happened. If you're a wrestling fan watching in California, you're like, well, I don't know what happened, but he's in the hospital and it don't sound good.
Right. It's time for the control center, buddy.
Let's do it.
That music just doesn't resonate with me, boys.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tony Schiavone coming to you from the Starrcade Control Center, where all the momentum, all the excitement is building towards Starrcade 86. Let's talk about.
Why did you put your face in your hands?
Because I'm a yucker. Hi, everybody. I'm Tony Schiavone. Jesus.
Jim Cornette and the Midnight Express seriously injured Animal, the Road Warriors, and Cornette claimed that Animal was out of professional wrestling for good. Well, as you expect, the Road Warriors are not out of wrestling. Let's take a look at the comeback of the Road Warriors.
So we're seeing some workout footage here.
Yeah.
Where do you think this would have been shot? In Charlotte, I'm sure, right?
Yeah. It was, there was a gym they worked. There was a Gold's Gym I think they all worked at in Charlotte, right down the road. I worked out there some too, believe it or not.
And it's unbelievable to think about just how massive these fellas were.
My God. And this is, this shit there's nothing gimmicked about these weights, obviously.
What we're watching right now. Oh, what's this?
Of Doom hasn't been sitting back on their laurels. No, sir. We're ready for you, Jim Cornette. Thanksgiving Day. That's right, Cornette. Midnight Express. We get a big surprise. You ain't ever gonna forget, right, brother? Hey, the surprise is good for us and bad for you.
Well, Jim Cornette has signed the contract for Starrcade to face the Road Warriors, and what a surprise the Road Warriors have in store for the Midnight Express. Let's take a look right now.
Jimmy Cornette, you think you've single-handedly destroyed the Legion of Doom. You've done what nobody else has ever done before in professional wrestling. Well, I got news for you, Jimmy Cornette. We're here right now with guys that get up every morning and work for a living. They work for everything they've got, and when they get in there, they give it all that they've got. And that's just what we're going to do come Thanksgiving Day, right, Hawk? Hey, these construction workers up high in the scaffolds, working for everything they got, just like the Warriors work for everything they got. Well, them construction workers high up in the scaffold are taking a chance at life and losing life every day by falling off. They're the closest ones to the sky. That's right. That's why we're calling this match a special match. That's right. We're calling this match the Night of the Skywalkers and Eden, Country, and Cornette. You had me out of wrestling for a month. You know why we were out a month? Because we were working out twice as hard. You set a fire under our butts. They ain't ever been set before. And now, Night of the Skywalkers, you're going down. Let's go get them. I'll climb the hill.
What a famous vignette this is. What a hell of a show this is in hindsight.
Yeah.
As we see the Road Warriors climbing the scaffold here. And of course, they're going to have this big pumpkin scene. Let's track it.
Take a look. This is what you got to look forward to. Night of the Skywalkers. Hey, we've had our brothers up here teaching us how to land on these Skywalkers, how to balance, and how to keep up. One thing you two lazy morons haven't learned to do yet. Hey, brother, what happens when you fall off one of these scaffolds? I'll show you what happened. You people out there, you take a look, and especially you, Midnight Express, you hit a bang on your animal. What'd I say? That says lover boy. There you go, Dennis. I'm going to show you what happens when you fall off a scaffolding.
And now we're seeing the...
We got one more. And what does this one here say? That says Bobby. That beautiful Bobby. This is what your head's going to do when it hits the ground.
Slow motion of Bobby's pumpkin, which actually that's about the same size as Orange's head in reality.
Dude, the slow motion of the pumpkin falling is ridiculous.
but the slow motion of the pumpkin hitting the concrete, kind of a fun visual.
Yeah, I know.
We assume that Jackie went out and shot this with him.
Yeah, I'm thinking that Jackie and Wayne Daniel. But in hindsight, you know, they were at a place called the Gym, and I'm not so sure where this was. I thought it was the gym close to where we work, a Gold's Gym, but it's a place called the Gym. So that could have been in Minneapolis, and we got a film crew to do
And there
that.
you have it. 2 teams in the air on the scaffold, 20 feet in the air for the first time this year. It's Starrcade 86, the Skywalkers. We're with Jim Crockett, president of Jim Crockett Promotions. The excitement is building. What else do you have for us, Jimmy?
We have an update on the Jimmy Valiant-Paul Jones match. Manny Fernandez, the Raging Bull, will be at ringside, but he's going to be in a cage 30 feet above the ring. Some people call this cage Betty Lou. Also, James J. Dillon has presented a contract for a world television title match, Tully Blanchard against Dusty Rhodes. The NWA cannot and will not sanction this match because it's a first blood match. But because of what's gone on between Tully Blanchard and Dusty Rhodes, I will present this contract to Dusty for him to make that decision.
Okay, the excitement continues for Starrcade 86. We'll see you next week right here at the Control Center.
Where did you shoot those?
We shot it. They had a rack in the back area with
the
all
office?
those monitors. Yeah, the office.
30 feet in the air, a scaffold match.
And the only way someone can win is by knocking his opponent off of the scaffold right down to the mat.
Just like the Road Warrior said, Skywalker, you're up there, it's going to look like 100 feet.
Well, now Jim Cornette has said we have the highest flyers in wrestling. His chance to prove it's going to come up during Starrcade 86.
If they throw them off that thing, they will be flying. Hope they have wings.
Yeah, I'm sure. David, but let's talk about Dusty Rhodes, Tully Blanchard, and the situation that's developed between those two men that's been building for years and years and years.
That's right. Really, you have to include, it's the 4 Horsemen.
That's right.
All right. Dusty Rhodes, every year, Dusty Rhodes been a part of Starrcade ever since the beginning. All right. There was a match last week in which Dusty Rhodes, they said if he lost it, he could not go into Starrcade.
It was a part of the contract.
Right.
That's right.
All right. Tully Blanchard and the 4 Horsemen, they wanted Dusty out. Any way they could. All right. They want some extra insurance going in that match. And you know exactly what they did to Dusty's arm.
Let's take a look at what they did to the hand of Dusty Rhodes.
Right there. Yeah, that's him. Hey, go on.
Going up South Boulevard here. My God, Lionel Toy Warehouse.
Right on his tail. Don't let anybody get.
Is that Ole's or is that Arn's Cadillac?
That's either one. Yeah, I think it's Ole's Cadillac.
You get him in that parking lot.
For sure.
No turning around. He'll never get out. Come on, turn. Yeah, he's got it. Yeah, he's turning. We got him. We got it right where we want it. That's it. Take it easy, Arn. Take it easy. Not too close. Not too close. Come on. In the parking lot. Come on. Now feed. Yeah, right back there to Crockett's office.
There's my white car on the right here. I can't wait to see it again. There it is, right in front of the truck. UPS truck.
Don't you worry. Just keep that camera running.
Klondike Bill's truck.
I want this to stand as a warning, Rhodes. Yeah. We'll see you tomorrow night in Charlotte, you. Correct ball. Get out of here before somebody comes around.
Okay, you heard JJ said, we'll see you tomorrow night in Charlotte. Now, the contract said if Dusty or his partner lost the match, then Dusty could not be a part of Starrcade. But Dusty said, I will be prepared that night.
And he would have a partner.
There we go.
That sets the stage. Was Dusty prepared? Let's see it right now.
He was, but I don't think any of us were prepared for this. Let's take a look at it.
The fans really weren't sure. I mean, they were going crazy, obviously, but they really weren't sure. And the way they played it up was Nikita was not sure until, as you see how he gets in the ring. Tremendous. How about that, buddy?
Goosebump moment, what we just saw here.
Yeah.
And the fans are going wild as Dusty and Magnum are no longer. And now it's Dusty and Nikita.
Yeah.
Magnum's biggest foe, his biggest enemy. And there's Ric Flair. Let's take a listen.
Guy's got his shirt off in the stands.
All right, Tony, Dusty was prepared.
Well, you're
And
not
he had
kidding.
that special partner.
And what a special partner it was. And who would have thought that would have happened? But the two superpowers together, David, Starrcade, the momentum is building with the Skywalkers, the scaffold with the Road Warriors, and Jim Cornette's Midnight Express, the hair versus hair, the hair of Big Mama going up against the hair of Paul Jones. And now the momentum is building because the two superpowers together. And we'll talk to those two men right after this timeout.
What's interesting, Tony, is you filmed this on the morning of the 19th.
Mm-hmm.
Show we just saw happened that evening. So you were getting ahead of it. Of course, you never said Magnum T.A. I mean, Nikita Koloff right there.
Right.
You said Superpowers, so you didn't spill it. Let's listen to Dusty.
About it. Two very important issues at hand right now. Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream. One is my closest friend in life, Magnum T.A., and the accident that he suffered. The last 2 weeks have been very difficult for Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, because Magnum T.A. and Dusty Rhodes made their own rules. We love fast cars and fast times, and that's the way we lived on the end of that lightning bolt that crashes through this vast earth of ours. That's the way we're going to continue to live. And after it happened, Nikita Koloff
called me on the phone and we talked for hours. And we met and talked for more hours. I don't believe everything that Nikita Koloff believes in, and he doesn't believe everything that I do. But living in this country gives you that right to be free, to have freedom of speech, to have freedom of choice, to have freedom to do and be what you want to be. And me never being one to go by the rules of the book, I have a lot of bad feelings about a lot of bad things and some stuff undone. The 4 Horsemen undone. Whether you like my choice or not is not really important to Dusty Rhodes, the American dream. The respect you have maybe of this country of ours brought, as they're saying, these 2 superpowers together and didn't always agree on everything, but at least had a common bond of what you wanted out of life, then it'd be better. And I have a new partner. And that's Nikita Koloff. And Nikita Koloff, I know one thing about, is the greatest Russian athlete in the world. Nikki?
Spasibo, Dusty. You know, I am proud Russian, and I am superior athlete. And I go to Japan and defeat many, many opponents. Well, last week I come back to America, and I hear about Magnum T.A. And I call you, Dusty. I call you because many times I meet Magnum T.A. in the ring, and many times we had a hard fight, and I learned to respect him. Well, now Nikita has cause. Many times Magnum T.A. say for him, he has no rule. And many times Nikita say for me, there is no law. Kremlin, Uncle Ivan, nobody tell Nikita what to do. And now you have to remember, I, Nikita Koloff, am greatest Russian athlete to ever walk this earth.
All right, ladies.
So there we go.
Yeah.
We just heard from Dusty saying, I don't have to explain my actions to anybody on the famous set. Is that also in the back of the warehouse?
Yeah.
Back in the office? I want to mention a lot of times, you know, Dusty would come on here and say fantastic things and say, you know, I was in the Himalayas last week.
Right.
But legitimately, based on my research, it looks like the day of the accident, Nikita Koloff actually was in Japan. He and Crusher Khrushchev had been wrestling over there, I don't know, for a week or so, maybe 10 days. But they actually were there in Japan when the accident happened.
Wow. I think we did, and looking back at it and looking at that interview, I think we did the best we could do. Don't you?
Oh, no, I totally agree. And listen, it was a goosebump moment to see them come out together, and then the pause, and then when he got involved physically, it was nicely done. And I know last week you were really taking issue with, I don't think they were going to do Magnum and Flair. But the way they just set that up, where, you know, oh, you're with Dusty, then I want you.
Right.
I mean, I feel like, I don't know, I could believe that the Magnum was going to be the guy at 86, but if he wasn't in 86, certainly 87. Showing the address again here. Let's track it.
For cards and letters, your get well wishes to Magnum T.A., Charlotte Memorial Hospital, P.O. Box 32861, Charlotte 28232. Please do not call the hospital, but please send your cards and letters to that address. Thank you very much. Okay, we're back with you on World Championship Wrestling. The momentum. And talk to me now about being a high flyer, being way up in the air.
I didn't mean all the things I was saying about flying that high. Let me, you did the interview. You know what kind of thing they're talking about? A scaffold match. That's the most dangerous kind of match that there could ever be.
The most dangerous.
To actually have a wrestling match on a scaffold a few feet wide, 20 feet in the air up over the ring, which is even more of a drop to the floor. You've got, now I know where Paul Ellering and the Road Warriors have been. They've been in a rubber room over at the Puzzle Factory with them custom-made jackets with the long sleeves, because the anger, the frustration, the humiliation, and the pain of what they suffered at our hands has run them crazy, and they have gone totally off the beam, and now they've dreamed this thing up because only an insane, irrational person would ever want to be a part of something like this because of exactly how dangerous it is, Tony Schiavone. And Paul Ellering, I don't know whether or not that you care about what happens to those two big idiots of yours, but I care about my boys. They're close friends of mine as well as being managed by me, and I'm scared. They ain't scared, but I'm scared for them, and you never drag me up on top of that thing. But you know what they're doing, Tony? They're trying to put the big one over on us. We're too tough. We're too bad. We can't be managed, and we can't be stopped. So they're trying to put the big one over on us, and Jim Crockett and the NWA and everybody else is trying to let them get away with it. A match like this, it can not only be the end of your career, it could be the end of everything. But I'm going to tell you something, Road Warriors and Paul Ellering, you better watch out for us, because if we even lay eyes on you before Thanksgiving night, by the time that Starrcade rolls around, you ain't going to be able to climb up on nothing any taller than a hospital bed. I promise you that, because something's going to be done about this thing. We ain't getting up on no scaffold.
Jim Cornette fans, we're coming right back.
Oh, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
It's good times, man. It's bad times, but it's good times because we had a lot of stuff going on.
Cornette was on fire.
Yeah, he was, man. Of course, and was this his biggest payoff with JCP? The payoff for the scaffold?
I'm not sure. Let me check. That's a great question, though.
Yeah, it may have been. And I've told the story that I asked Dennis Condrey. I said, I think this was like when we were standing getting ready to do an interview on TBS. I said, I hope you guys are getting paid a lot of money for this. And Condrey said, we better, or there won't be another one.
Yeah. And there wasn't another one.
There wasn't another one. So, but despite, and you know how I mentioned, don't call the hospital?
Yep.
The hospital was overrun with calls. And that was one of the big stories in Charlotte. Like, this professional wrestler is hurt, and Charlotte Memorial Hospital has never seen the outpouring of affection and the people coming to the hospital and going to the lobby and sitting outside and having vigils for him and calling, don't call us, please.
Oh, man, here we go. John Paul.
Yeah. John Paul.
Hey, if you want bigger stars, if you want rougher men, you've got to pay the price. From now on, big money ball players is what I have right here. Now let me tell you something. Rasky, you can't keep up with what I want. I demand a lot, and if you can't keep up, stay out of my hair. I don't ever want to see your face again. And then, I'm looking at the Rock and Roll Express, and I'm looking at those two belts around these two giants. And something, Wahoo McDaniels, you're a big, tough man. You have a big reputation. But if you want to be
oh my God,
the man that's a savior, stay
my
away
God,
from the Raging Bull, because remember, you're going to have to look at the Raging Bull, and it's going to be from across the ring. Jimmy Valiant, the match is signed. You're going to be mine. Big Mama's going to be a bald-headed geek. In the morning when you get up and you're eating your post toasties and you look across at Big Mama and she's looking at you and you look at her and she's a bald-headed geek, she's going to be the ugliest thing you ever seen in your life.
You know something, Daddy? Wahoo McDaniels, the toughest man in professional wrestling, comes out here, my man. Comes out here, just whining and crying. I never thought I'd see the day, Wahoo, and you'd come out here and cry about something. Well, Daddy, me and you have been up the road, and now that I got the ravishing one, and you just saw an example of the awesome twosome, baby. We got a lot more to dish out, Indian. So if you want to stick your nose in my business, don't mess with a horn, baby. Because if he don't do it, I sure will take care of you and send you packing to your teepee, baby.
That's right, Squahoo. Can't take nothing away from you. You lasted 9 years in the NFL. You're one tough dude. But just remember, with Raging Bull and Ravishing Rick Rude, you didn't last 9 seconds. We embarrassed you in front of your whole tribe. Red man, better a red man than a dead man. That's right. Dusty Rhodes, you get all the help you want. You bring Dusty Rhodes. Baby. You bring Ronnie Garvin.
We'll see you next week, fans, on World Championship Wrestling.
Whoa. I didn't know all that was in there.
I didn't either. But that's the world as we knew it back in '86, and our apologies if we offended anybody.
My goodness.
Yes.
Yeah. You asked a minute ago about the payoff. It's here in Cornette's book.
Yeah.
That he got his biggest payoff, maybe not his biggest payoff, but that was $10,045 for I guess what's going to be known as the most watched Midnight Express match of all time. And unfortunately, it's probably also the worst one.
Yeah, right.
Big on theatrics, but man, you want to talk about arguably the greatest tag team of all time. Just their matches that they put together were unbelievable, but you kind of lose some of that when you put them on a platform 25, 30 feet above the ring. They can't really do that same stuff.
Yeah. It's amazing when you think about, if you flash forward to, like, let's say 2010, 2011, 2012, what the payoffs were back then.
Yeah.
Millions, right?
Yeah.
And $10,000, which in the grand scheme of things, a $10,000 payoff for a night, to me, was pretty good. I don't know if Cornette said in his book if he was disappointed in that or not. The fact that he blew out his knee, probably he was disappointed.
We'll talk about that match, I'm sure, more next month.
Are we gonna watch Starrcade?
Absolutely, we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're thinking what I'm thinking, and I'm thinking what you're thinking, I'm thinking we might need a special guest or two or three.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Let's get Cornette.
I mean, for sure, our old pal David Crockett is down to clown anytime.
Absolutely, he'd be.
He's had a phenomenal time, and what a great asset he's been to us here on the show. And
yeah,
there's a lot of performers who were on that card who were still alive and kicking and probably down to have a little fun with us. So stay tuned for that. It's become a Thanksgiving tradition around here of sorts for us to watch an old Starrcade. And it feels like this year we should definitely watch 1986.
Yeah, because obviously that's our biggest show of this year. And
sure.
A lot of great things in the show, a lot of obviously disappointing, discouraging things, and upsetting things, but overall, hell of a show, man. Really a hell of a show. And again, apologies for the war cry and calling Wahoo Squahoo and all.
Yeah, we didn't know that was in there.
No, we didn't know this.
I'll be honest, I haven't seen that whole show. I've seen clips, right?
Yeah.
But I've never seen that whole show put together. And I know what we just saw was just over 30 minutes. But I think you could argue that might be one of the best 30-minute shows in the history of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
It's so important historically.
Right.
That makes sense.
I think that scene with Dusty outside of Jim Crockett Promotions tying him up to the truck is probably the most memorable of all the Four Horsemen angles. Don't you think?
It's up there. And there was a lot of controversy at the time. People were starting to get quote unquote smart to the business.
Right.
And a lot of people felt like it was a goof. It was an edit when Dusty yelled, make it look good.
Make it good. Right.
But in reality, it was a reference to like an old Western.
Right.
And from what I understand, the movie was One-Eyed Jack. Marlon Brando was in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And his character, Rio, had been betrayed by his partner and fellow outlaw, Dad Longworth, who was played by Carl Malden.
Wow.
And following a bank robbery, the two had committed together. Years later, I should mention, Longworth became the sheriff, and when Rio returns to town to confront him, Rio is captured, tied to a hitching post, and whipped. But the worst blow of all is yet to come. Barely able to speak, Rio says, "You better kill me." His meaning was, after all you've done to me, you've betrayed me, you've whipped me, you might as well kill me, because if you don't, I'll be back to kill you. And that breakdown is brought to us by the MidAtlanticGateway.com, old friend of the show, Mr. Dick Bourne. He loves that moment and always took great issue when fans would say, because they knew he was sort of running things, he was the booker. They assumed it was make it look good. Like, no, make it good. Like you better not miss.
Right.
Or, as Omar would say, when you come for the king, you best not miss.
Well, here's all you need to know about that. And two things. Dusty loved Westerns, old Westerns. And number two, Dusty shouted, "Make it good."
Yes.
If he shouted, "Make it good." He didn't say, "Make it good."
Yeah.
He shouted it as if he wanted it to air that way. So for you goofs out there that think that it was something else, then check yourself in at the hotel and leave me the fuck alone.
It really a great moment. I think if I was going to, first of all, there are two things that, as great as it is, I can be critical of.
Sure.
I wish in a perfect world, I guess there's three things. I wish in a perfect world, it was a thicker rope.
Right.
I wish that Dusty wasn't holding the ladder he should have been trying to fight to get away.
Yeah.
Let me hold it still for you.
Right.
And when JJ is trying to choke him with the bat, but of course he's not really trying to choke him.
Right.
Friend. But he's trying to choke him, and Dusty just goes, now don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I watch enough of this shit that I'm just overly critical, and I get that.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't, and I don't really know Dusty. I met Dusty like 5 times in my life, but the point is, I can have fun with that. And I understand at the time, everyone took it very, very seriously, but I just think about him being like, okay, I need it to look good and I can pull this little bullshit string off. So I won't do that and ruin it. I'll just hold it. And then, oh, JJ's not giving me much with this. I got to really sell it. The angle itself, phenomenal. So good, by the way, that 10 years later, it will be ripped off in WCW with the Steiners and the NWO. And it got such a reaction, they were only able to show it on TV once. So, what's that old saying? There are no new ideas in wrestling. But man, that was a good one. That was really great stuff. And it was really fun just to see the old Crockett office and all the cars there. And you could tell that Mr. Crockett didn't really care about parking lot maintenance. It was
no,
it was fun to see, man.
Yeah. That building, as we know, is gone. The building in front of it's gone. Lionel Toy Warehouse is gone. South Boulevard looks a lot different. 1986, man. I have a lot of memories, and a lot of the memories that I have do not really connect. I didn't realize in my memory bank that our announcement of Magnum being hurt and that angle with Dusty were on the same show. That didn't click with me until all of a sudden, oh boy, this is all in the same show, man. And obviously Ric Flair, and we showed the Nikita footage from Charlotte, and Flair obviously set up the match for he and Nikita for the world title at Starrcade. So good stuff, buddy.
So much happened in this show. It's hard to even, I don't know. It's hard to really contextualize what a big show we just watched and how much changed just like that.
Yeah. It's life, man.
It is.
Changes just like that in January of 2017 for me, just like that. And then signing with AEW just like that. I talk about that all the time, how you just can't in life. You can't say, well, that's the way it's going to be.
Yeah.
Because it's not the way it's going to be.
Well, it will be if you decide it is, but if you keep after it.
Right. Right.
It doesn't have to be.
No, it doesn't have to be.
And Tony, I'm excited about next week. I don't know where we can go from here. It's been such a big time episode that we just saw, but next week here on the show, or I guess we should mention, let's circle back to this. You mentioned live there at the matinee show on October 19th. Oh, and Dusty had a special partner, didn't he? But you never said Nikita out of your mouth.
Right.
And it's because even back then, kayfabe was so real, even though this was way pre-internet, you didn't want any of these 100 folks or whoever it was here in the studio to know that Dusty and Nikita were together.
Right.
So you just called them the Superpowers. That was it. And that was a code name that hadn't really been used before. So nobody in the studio who was there to watch the tapings had any idea. But that night is when what we just saw would happen. The main event, of course, was Dusty and Nikita. He was, of course, substituting for Magnum T.A. against Ole and JJ. JJ was in there for an injured Tully Blanchard. It was a steel cage match. As we heard, the stipulation was Dusty would not be a part of Starrcade if his team lost. The very next day, you're in Greenville, South Carolina. It's Dusty and Nikita on top, taking on Ole and Arn in a steel cage. And then on the 20th, we've got Fayetteville, North Carolina as a B show, which is Bobby Jaggers and Dutch Mantell taking on the Midnight Express in the main event. Another TV taping, this time for Worldwide on the 21st in Greenville, South Carolina. Ric Flair is on tour, of course. And the 23rd, Sumter, South Carolina. Central States has got a show that you guys are, I guess, sort of half-ass promoting on the 23rd in Concordia, Kansas, and another in Warrensburg, Missouri. But then we do a big show, 10,000 fans in attendance on the 24th. Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes in the main event. Kansas City has a show that weekend. Central States again taking action there at the Memorial Hall. Greensboro, the home of Starrcade. Not quite the crowd we're hoping for, but again, remember the big show is a month later. So it's October 25th, 1986. There's only 4,281 fans there. They're going to have Dusty and Nikita on top, taking on Arn and Ole in a steel cage match. A matinee show on the 26th with Flair and Murdoch in a steel cage. And then the 26th is another big Omni show, and it is a big Omni show. It's Flair and Dick Murdoch in the main event. Just below that, it's Dusty and Nikita taking on Ole and Arn. Then we're back on the road. Murner Gym in North Carolina. Do you remember that building, Murner Gym?
I do not remember Murner Gym at all.
But you've got the Midnight Express there taking on Bobby Jaggers and Dutch Mantell. It's in, I'm going to mispronounce this, Missenheimer, North Carolina. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah. For some reason, I'm thinking it's Meisenheimer, but
yeah, you're probably right.
I should have known because I said it probably 100 times. So
it's just phenomenal to me that in the middle of all, we're the Omni and then we're at this gym.
Yeah, I know.
October 27th, again, it's Dusty and Nikita taking on Tully and Arn. So Tully is back here. It's a double bull rope match in Greenville on October 27th. Another TV taping on the 28th in Rock Hill, South Carolina. They're going to have a Japanese television crew there to shoot Dusty Rhodes teaming with Ricky and Robert to take on Ric Flair, Arn, and Ole in a steel cage match. We're in Boone, North Carolina at the Varsity Gym on October 29th.
Wow.
30th, we're in Charleston, West Virginia. Easy for me to say. We're back in Philadelphia already on November 1st. This time on top, it's Big Bubba, Bobby Eaton, and Dennis Condrey taking on Ron Garvin, Bobby Jaggers, and Dutch Mantell. And then, of course, November 2nd, we're going to shoot another episode of WTBS, and it's going to air on November 8th. But we'll pick it up next week when we talk about November 2nd. But man, what a freaking October it was here for Jim Crockett Promotions.
Yeah, it's odd to say, hey, we got the Omni and then we got these high school gyms, but the idea was, book every town that you can.
Get as many tickets sold as you can.
Exactly. And they would go to these high school gyms. Now, you said the Varsity Gym in Boone, that's Appalachian State, so that's a college gym. But you would have you would go to these high school gyms and you would work out something with the athletic department, and you would give the athletic department a portion of the funds, and thus the athletic department would push the tickets for you.
You know, what's interesting, Tony, is as we're getting ready to cover next week, I don't know if you heard, but there doesn't feel like there was an episode between October 25th and November 8th on TBS. Now, maybe somebody is going to correct us on that.
Right.
But as I'm looking through here, it looks like the next time it's taped is going to be for the November 8th episode, and it's taped on the 2nd. So when you and I record next week, it'll be the November 8th edition.
Wow, we'll be way ahead.
We'll be way ahead, which means that, we're going to have a chance to stop and take care of business when it comes time for Starrcade 86.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, we'll jump ahead. I don't know why. Again, that's just one of those episodes I guess they just don't have on there. But a couple of things you were kind of going over where Jim Crockett Promotions was. I want to say something about our company that this weekend, as this show drops on Wednesday, this weekend we're going to be in Orlando for Saturday Night Dynamite. And then we're going back to Boston a week from this Wednesday on the 27th. And that's going to be at Boston University. Got a big crowd anticipated there. And by the way, thanks to everybody that came by to see me at the New York Comic Con a couple weeks ago. Appreciate that. And I'm going to be at the Emerald City Comic Con in Seattle on December 2nd and back in Chicago at C2E2 on December 10th with Butts and Seats, the Tony Schiavone story.
Pretty big opportunity for everybody to take advantage of this. And boy, I guess we should just mention it. Dirk Manning did not find the humor, I don't think, in me asking what was taking so damn long.
Yeah, he's not.
I don't think he got the joke.
Well, he is a horror writer, and so he does not know how we are. Okay.
I'm supporting the damn thing. I'm just busting balls a little bit.
I know. And I told him, I said, if you get involved in this business, get ready. We got some ball breakers here, buddy. And every time he and I do an interview, every time Dirk and I do an interview on a podcast,
yep.
The question always is, how did this all begin? And I say, well, Mike Dawkins, the gimmick attorney who Conrad introduced me to, has now become my lawyer. And Mike Dawkins got in touch with me and said, hey, would you like to do a comic book about your life? And I went, yes, I would. And Mike Dawkins said to me, well, I've got this guy who is one of the top comic book writers around. I know him. He's a personal friend. He is a great guy. So let me put you in touch with him. I said, okay. I said, but that guy was not available. So we had to settle on Dirk Manning. So that's how I always intro these. And Dirk always laughs about it. So I bust his balls from the word go. So hopefully he's used to it by now.
Well, listen, we hope you guys check it out. buttsandseatscomic.com. I'm sure there'll be updates coming eventually. And I know that thing's going to be everywhere. It feels like it's number one with a bullet over on Amazon right now, Tony.
Yeah, I'm very happy, very proud of that. And life goes on, right? You can't predict life. So give it your best shot.
By the way, I just went to Amazon and I typed in butts in S and it suggested Seats Tony Schiavone.
Wow.
So that tells you where you're at. It's going to be dropping, or so it says, November 30th. We'll see. But either way, check it out, man. I'm excited. It's finally going to happen. It's finally here and it's real.
Yep. Can't wait, man.
So boys and girls, that's going to do it. We hope you guys have enjoyed a very special edition of What Happened When. I feel like I was a little off my game today, but it was such an important show. I didn't want it to all just be ha-has, Tony. I wanted let's do this thing justice. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Let's do it justice. I agree with you. Not all ha-ha, but then again,
little ha-ha.
I've
been getting a lot of comments about your story. I wondered if you got any feedback about the time you were at the radio station and realized you didn't wipe so well and you came to work with shit on you.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything yet. Of course,
I'd stay off social media if I was you.
Okay.
I'd just lay off for a couple weeks and just let it breathe.
That's not a problem.
Yeah.
The only social media I know is when my daughter sends me something or you send me something from social media. That's all I know. So I don't read it. I don't need it in my life.
Well, listen, boys and girls, that's going to do it for us this week here on WHW. Tony, it looks like it's about that time.
Well, it's time for a little ha-ha. And we're in the parking lot of First Family Mortgage in Huntsville, Alabama. And Dave, I guess I can't say his name, Conrad.
No, you can't.
Dave, D-A-V-E, will you open up the goddamn door? Yeah, Dave.
And yes, that's right. We can't say his name, but oh my God, he's being tied up against a truck and they're beating him with a baseball bat. And Clint from Hershey's got a baseball bat up against his throat. And listen to him. Blah, blah, blah. Well, that's how he normally sounds. We're desperately out of time. We'll see you next week on What Happened When. We come to you Wednesdays onto the Cumulus Podcast Network. But Mondays, we come to you completely ad-free on
Patreon, patreon.com/WHW Monday. And of course, adfreeshows.com.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money, it's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.